A veteran of 35 years in Thailand, and the large majority of those years up north, Mr. David Unkovich, the GT rider himself, is one of the foremost expat authorities in northern Thailand. One could say he knows these parts like the back of his throttle. Journey with us as we take a meander through one of Dave's favourite cities in the north, Mae Chaem, a wonderfully quaint little town which has a population of just under 60,000 and is approximately 120 kilometres from Chiang Mai. The meander commences at the foot of Thailand's highest mountain, Doi Inthanon, at the gateway to the magnificent national park. Dave politely reminds the ticket booth staff that Farang have 2 arms, 2 legs, a brain and no money tree, exactly the same as Thai nationals. The entrance fee here one of the larger discrepancy amounts in the kingdom, 300 baht for Westerners and 50 baht for Thai nationals. Many Melburnians in Australia will relate very much to this scenery, a distinct cross between the Dandenong Ranges and the Grampians in Victoria. As green and lush and winding a terrain as you will find. And the climate also similar, the higher you get, just 14 degrees Celsius at the top. These parts are made up of several hill tribes, predominantly the Aka, the Karen and the Hmong, whose ethnic heritage knows no political boundaries. Always taking the opportunity to interact with the locals, Dave turns on the charm. The produce here is a diverse mix of fruit, veg and handcrafts. Dave has spotted one of his favourites.
Mixed fruit, all this glazed fruit, looks pretty cool. But this one is my favourite, this palm, this toddy palm, beautiful.
Having come to an agreeable price and fully stocked with delicious mixed fruits and teddy palm jelly, the ascent continued. Up here, you are literally riding amongst the clouds, a surreal experience. Getting chillier at the top after signing an autograph from an admiring fan, Dave makes his way to the summit, just 50 metres from the car park, a popular tourist destination and memorial site.
Yeah, Doi Inthanon on the top of the mountain is only 120 kilometres from Chiang Mai. And you can get here in an hour and a half if you want to. The first 50 kilometres out of Chiang Mai are basically flat in the rice paddies. And then you've got 70 kilometres uphill to the top of the mountain. Oh, certainly, it's an awesome ride coming out because you're on the gas in all the corners, accelerating and powering on up the hill. If you're coming down, you're under brakes all the way. It's nowhere near as exciting. It's great to be on the powering out of the corners and having fun, overtaking all the other vehicles on the road.
One of the real highlights in the national park opened in March of '93, Napa Pol Pum Sri, a magnificent temple in the sky complex. With pristine gardens and an energy all of its own, it took 900 days to build at a cost of 135 million baht. The name means power of the skies and prosperity of the land.
It's a magnificent spot. We're just about 3-4 kilometres below the summit, and this is the best view you've got from Doi Inthanon. When you're actually at the top of the mountain, the view isn't so great because there's a very good forest cover at the top and it's surrounded by trees there. And the best view is just down below, where we have these 2 chetties built in honour of the King and the Queen for their 60th anniversary. You've got a fantastic view out to the west there.
A keen photographer himself, this was the perfect spot to take advantage. Beautiful scenery as far as the eye can see. The majesty of this place was tangible. On to the next stop, Mae Chaem, a motorbike enthusiast's heaven. the tree-lined road and non-stop twists and turns and hairpin bends offer a blatant reminder of the thrill of being alive. Fertile foliage abounds. The view from here overlooking the entire township gives you a good idea as to the size. Just prior to harvest time, the rice paddies have changed from green to brown and are ripe for the picking. This golden backdrop a sure sign that many laborious hours await these workers, largely dependent on the harvest for their livelihood. Commercial harvesting here, whilst much faster, is more expensive, so the workers are happy to do it the old-fashioned way. Mae Chaem has many of the oldest temples in the whole of Thailand. Dave gives us a glimpse into Wat Buddha En. This temple is used for many an occasion, these ladies packing up after a good old-fashioned chinwag. And even monks take time out to find out what's happening in the world.
This wooden bot here is on stilts, as you can see, in a lotus pond, and it's perhaps the only one like this in Thailand. You don't see this very often at all in a lotus pond like this. It's quite unique as well.
A unique part of this particular temple is the water source.
It's where the villagers come and get their fresh water from every day. Yes!
Yes, the best things in life are free. This is a robe presentation for the gentleman in white we see here taking place, who will become a monk for a short time following the passing of a loved one. Not too far from here is another Wat well worth a look, Wat Pao Num.
Yes, the Okmansar, they've just changed. They've just put the winter robes on. Yeah. They change the robes for the cold season. Yeah. And there's. So Okmansar festival was the last full moon about a week, 10 days ago. Okay. Yeah.
Right next door, this new temple is being built, which gives us a rare glimpse at the incredible workmanship involved in constructing these spiritual dwellings. Teak wood, the predominant material used. And driving through town, we get a bird's eye view of this charming little township. Time to call it a day, as the meander will continue bright and early tomorrow.
Go down to Yang Luang and check out that one, and also stop off in Ban Thap to see the hairpin ladies there that make these silver hairpins.
Breakfast at a favourite little restaurant and more leisurely sightseeing brings us to the local weaving centre. A dying art, as the younger generation simply lack the patience required to produce such individual garments. This family have lived here for generations and still use the original tools and blocks of wood more than 100 years old to create magic. We can see cotton from the field being pressed and then transformed into wonderful local garments of all descriptions. Many sold to fulfill specific orders and many sold to the local shops.
Yeah, this old lady here is the one they call Mae Chaem, whose husband was the famous one who made the silver and gold hairpins that the villagers used to use, and they also sold them to royalty, would use them. Her husband is the guy in the painting up on the wall there, and he learnt the trade from his father as well, so it's come down for 3 generations now. And the old lady, her daughters are carrying on the tradition so that it doesn't die.
And so after a fond farewell, the final stop-off point after the 1.5-day Mae Chaem meander was on to one of the oldest temples in the kingdom.
This is Wat Yang Luang. It's the oldest temple in Mae Chaem, and I believe it's the most important one. And there are some magnificent Buddha images, very, very old images in the back of the Wat inside there. The main images at the front, and behind that they've got some very old images that people are not sure who put them there. The Karen have built this temple, but they don't understand the full history of the origin of the Buddha images that are at the back. And it's basically like a Wat that's built on top of another Wat. But go inside and have a look.
Inside, this rare phenomenon takes place. In complete darkness, the image of a temple appears on the floor. Quite a mystery. The sculptor of this temple is in fact unknown. One can clearly see it as one of the oldest and most individual you will find. The red one next door, another fabulous piece of ancient Thai history. Mae Chaem is one of the most unspoiled natural places in the entire kingdom. As is the case, everything changes with time and so-called progress. Let's hope this is one place that can remain relatively untouched. The GT rider will no doubt do his utmost to preserve such historical uniqueness. Hopefully for a few more generations to come.